So here is the Shelby GT350 from 1967.
The one point we have to make about the production Shelby cars, particularly in the 60s, that Carroll Shelby made these to compete directly with Corvettes in terms of performance. And also on the track.
The question is, did they? Certainly in style. I think they're beautiful. Good to see you again. Thank you. I am doing great, thank you. You know, the audience has been saying Mustang, Mustang, Mustang. I said, you know, there's no better example of a Mustang than the Shelby GT350 and 500. This is an absolutely stunning car, and you've got this GT350 right here.
I do, and I'm very fortunate. I looked for a long time to find one. There's half as many 350s as there is 500s for 1967. They made 1,175 350s and over 2,200 500s. So finding a good 350 is hard to do.
Why was 67 seems like it's the year for them? Why was 67 the year?
Styling. The car is actually 3 inches longer than a conventional Mustang because of the extra fiberglass. You can see it in the nose. Where the headlight trimmer is, and in the hood, it's much longer there. It's actually longer in the back slightly as well.
Now, this is, I think it was the 500 that the Eleanor is based on in the most recent Gone in 60 Seconds. So it's iconic from that, but it's been iconic for years before that. I always think that these are the best examples of Mustangs ever. They're absolutely stunning. Your wife is into this car, which I found very surprising. It seems like it's a family affair.
Very much so, and she is. When we found this car, and again, Donald Lee out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, ordered this car new, had it 47 years. Took such good care of it. And when we saw it in its original Brittany blue, deal done.
Yeah, she said that she was hoping for one with stripes. This one didn't have stripes. It was a factory option to delete the stripes. And she said she would have preferred stripes, but when you have a chance to get a one-owner car that's in great condition, you kind of got to jump on that.
You absolutely do. And one that's been cared for to the extent this one has been with all its original sheet metal and fiberglass. The interior seats, door panels, headliner, dash is all original to the car. The drivetrain of the car is all original to it as well, including the internals of the engine are original to it.
What's in it?
This is a 289 high-performance engine. So solid lifter engine, 306 horse from Shelby.
Now they're correcting me. They're saying that Eleanor was a GT350. I thought it was a GT500. You did too, yeah.
But
maybe I'm wrong.
306 horsepower. That is, you started out with the 271 horsepower high-performance 289, and then add some enhancements, carburation, things like that. That's from the very first GT350s, which were really much rawer in their appearance. They were really race cars. By the time you get to 67, they're more GT cars.
Totally. You're exactly right. However, the 306 horsepower nomenclature stuck with them, even though up until through 66 you had headers, but in 67 you did not. But however, you do have a different aluminum intake and Holley carburetor.
Well, this was also meant to compete with the Corvette.
We're gonna check out the interior, and well, first we'll check out the engine. Now, a lot of the viewers are saying that stripes actually look better on exotic cars, and on something like this they prefer it without stripes. I prefer it with the stripes.
And I'm the other court. I think they're, again, for a GT touring car, without the stripes they're kind of elegant.
Yeah.
You know, without it. However, most of them do have stripes
So
on.
let's show the engine off. Let's make sure we get a camera on the engine. Oh, we've got it there. Okay. So how much horsepower did this car put out?
As they say, it's rated at 306, solid lifter engine, and where you get a lot of it is because of the way the engine will rev. Because it's a solid lifter engine, it won't float the valves at higher RPMs, and the solid lifter cars are balanced internally, so they'll rev much higher than a conventional 289 engine or normal small block V8.
What's it like driving?
It's a lot of fun to drive. They're much quicker than again conventional 289s or regular 283 Chevrolets, so forth like that, because of the way they'll rev. Also, these cars came standard with 389 rear axles in them, so the quickness to them is there. Once you get up to highway speed, they will turn pretty high.
Now, the one thing about the solid lifters, one reason why not all cars had them, or earlier cars had them, we went to hydraulics as soon as they could, is that they do require adjustment periodically.
And you're exactly right. You do have to adjust these, to your point, periodically. And also, you'll see no vacuum advance on the distributor. You'll also see a larger harmonic balancer. and a larger pulley on the alternator, and that's because of the way the engines will rev. If they had small pulleys on the alternator, you would tear them up.
Now, how does it handle? Mustangs have often been criticized for their handling, especially the early Mustangs. But I would imagine that because of the Shelby relationship, that this car handles much better than a regular Mustang.
You know, when it came to these have got the sport suspensions into them, stiffer springs, better shocks, so forth like that to them. It actually handles very well. And by 67, you had the extra width that was put in them to accommodate the big block engines and so forth, so they handle very well.
I noticed you have the lights in the grille. That's, I think, a very rare feature in these cars. You want to walk me through that?
Absolutely, and there's two sets.
I love them, by the way.
There's two sets of lights that came on the 67 Shelby. There's inboard lights, which this has. There's outboard lights, and the outboard lights went to states such as California that had laws that would prohibit lights being too close together in the center of the grille. So depending upon the state the car was originally shipped to, whether they were inboard lights in a state like this came from Ohio, which was okay, or if you had an outboard light car that had to go to California.
I like the inboard. And was that an option, or was that standard on these?
It's standard on these. It's part of what makes it a 67 Shelby along with the scoops.
I love it, and the scoops are amazing. Can you walk us through the interior as well? I notice you have is that shoulder seat belts or like some kind of shoulder assist, which would have been rare in 67?
In 1967, Shelby put a few things were on this were the first for American car manufacturers. One of which is tensioning seat belts, which we're used to every day. These were the first to tension in an American automobile. The other thing that is unique to the 67 Shelby that was a first for American cars is the built-in roll bar.
That is pretty special. I like both of those features, and they're both safety features, which is important. Now, the audience is asking, the Terrifics, they're asking if you get to drive the car much, because it looks like you keep this in a garage and, you pamper it and you wax it a couple times a week and all that. But it seems like to me, and talking to your wife, you guys actually take this out on the road.
We actually do. It was used yesterday in the tour here. We've driven this on a 1,000-mile tour across North Florida and southern Georgia called the Orange Blossom Tour.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I always say you got to drive them. That's my feeling. Look at that. The Orange Blossom Tour. It almost looks like the car is featured in the...
It was the following year. That photograph was used in the feature ads. We drove it in 15. They used the car in their advertising for 16.
Wow, that looks like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great time. And again, that's part of why we bought a 350. And the fact we could work on it. Mm-hmm. It's easy. You don't break as many knuckles. And again, the handles better than a big block car. And it's just such a great road car.
You and your wife work on it?
We do. So it's a family project to that.
How fast have you gotten it up to?
It's one of those things because of the 389 gears and so forth, and also because I've got the original motor in it, that's numbers matching to it, I don't run it that hard.
I hear you.
We'll do highway speeds and so forth with that, and with no issue. It's just I won't run it.
Mike and I have this little argument going back and forth. He likes big block muscle cars. I like small block muscle cars, and you just stated the reason why.
I'll tell you, I've had big block cars and so forth, including big block Shelbys, and they're hard to work on and broken knuckles and so forth. They're fabulous. They sound wonderful. They're great straight line automobiles. But if you're going to use one periodically for tour use and this kind of thing, the small block was the way to go for us. And we also have a GT350H that's a race car. And so we take it, and that's the one we'll run hard.
Now, that would be the Hertz edition that they would rent. Is that correct?
That's correct. First year in 1966, from January to January, was a rental car out of JFK. Came in twice for warranty work on the transmission. And the first real owner of it made it a hill climb car. Stripped the interior down, made it wasn't street legal. The second owner of it actually used it as a drag car, and it had 2 4-barrels and a blower sticking through the hood. And then 10 years later, starting in 1981, it became a road race car. And so it's been to all of the tracks all over, Sebring, Road America, Road Atlanta, and now we've made it an endurance rally car.
Really? Wow, I like that. And how fast have you had that up to?
That car we will run and rock hard.
Well, tell me about the interior here. You've got a 4-speed transmission, and it looks like a standard H pattern. You've got the tach on the right side and the speedometer on the left. You redline at about 6,000, which is pretty good in those days, a little low for today. It seems like you got a standard AM/FM radio. radio, maybe I was going to say maybe like an 8-track, but it doesn't look like it. Walk me through the interior and the creature comforts that were offered and how comfortable it is or is not.
Absolutely, and this is real standard Shelby fare. Shelby's in 1967 were the deluxe interior. It was the first time you could get a deluxe interior in a Shelby was 67. And the standard AM radio, which was an addition, and there's the sticker for this car from 1967.
$4,577.53, which included power steering, power disc brakes, the shoulder harnesses, 4-speed transmission, Select-O-Matic transmission. What was that?
In this case, the 4-speed transmission.
Got it.
Why, which was a no-charge option. If you went to anything else, it was an optional charge.
And you were going to say something else. I cut you off. So.
And then you can see it's a deluxe AM radio. But very standard Shelby fare across there. It's a non-air conditioned car. Air conditioned Shelbys back then were very rare and hard to come by today.
Roll-up windows. I guess are the mirrors powered? They're not, right? Nope. They're manual mirrors. Very nice. It was sold to Harry Humphreys, Route 21, New Philadelphia, Ohio, as you said.
Humphreys Ford.
Humphreys Ford.
Humphreys Ford was where the car was originally shipped to. And when Donald Lee bought this car new, this is the original interior in the car. Original seats, original headliner, dash, so on and so forth.
Is it comfortable?
It is for 1967. Compared to today's automobiles, no. Especially with bias fly tires on it. There's been so much technology that has come on, and then when you put a set of radials on here and want to put it on the highway, it's much better than that.
Thanks for sharing. This is wonderful. The audience loves that it's not a trailer queen. Congratulations. You picked a beautiful car.
Gentlemen, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming by and on this beautiful day and bringing some sunshine here to Connecticut.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.